And we're ready.
All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to our viewers who are coming in at this point. There's a very interesting turn in politics in Delhi. It does seem, from a lot of the rumors, that there's some buzz that Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal might be arrested by the ED for skipping his third summons in Delhi. Now, this is what has happened. As of last night around midnight, various Aam Aadmi Party leaders started tweeting that they expect that Arvind Kejriwal might be arrested today. Now, remember, Kejriwal had written to the Enforcement Directorate saying that he will skip the third summons because he called the probe illegal. Aam Aadmi Party put out a statement saying that they're ready to cooperate with the investigation, but the agency's notice is illegal. Their intention is to arrest Arvind Kejriwal and they want to stop him from his election campaign. The BJP, in the meantime, has called Arvind Kejriwal a coward and said that he has something to hide, which is why he's absconding like a criminal. Let me give you a quick background into the Delhi Excise Policy scam, which is what has caused all of this confusion. Remember, several Aam Aadmi Party ministers, sitting ministers, were arrested under this scam. Now, there was a policy for the liquor policy that was formed for Delhi back in November 17, 2021, with the help of an expert committee. Until that, the wholesaling of liquor was controlled by the Delhi government, and there was a lot of black marketing. There was a lot of leaking of revenue that the government had because of the black marketing. The idea was to open it up to private sellers, thereby making all of the revenue white and increasing the revenue for the Delhi government. Now, there was a policy that was written that created bidding for each zone. Now, after that, the Delhi Chief Secretary, Naresh Kumar, actually submitted a report to the then Lieutenant Governor, Vinay Kumar Saxena, in July 2022, saying that there were several lapses in the formulation of the policy and there were a lot of arbitrary and unilateral decisions that were taken by Manish Sisodia in his capacity as excise minister, alleging effectively that they were giving special treatment to certain vendors, in return getting kickbacks, and it also was then submitted kickbacks were used to win assembly elections or contest assembly elections in Punjab and in Goa. The ED came into the picture. Remember, the Enforcement Directorate investigates money laundering and the money that is got illegally, which is effectively laundered money. Now, after the CBI named Sisodia and 14 other accused in its FIR, the ED told the court that there are alleged proceeds of crime of more than 292 crore rupees, and therefore it is necessary to establish the modus operandi and interrogate these people. The ED said the scam was to give the wholesale liquor business at a margin of 12%, get 6% back as a kickback. And there were a lot of loopholes in how that entire policy was written. It also said Aam Aadmi Party leaders were partial to a group of people called the South Group, who had secured the wholesale business in various zones. Now, the policy had actually, they've already said that they were blanket relaxations that were given by Sisodia and these ministers to certain people. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has argued that they've seen no trace of evidence and no trace of the money that we're talking about. And so the ED is really looking to Kejriwal putting out a video today saying if there was any money that they could show us, then it would make sense to talk. So that's what's happening right now. The question is it likely that the Enforcement Directorate is going to arrest Arvind Kejriwal, who is a sitting chief minister, and what is the precedent to that? To help us understand that, we have joining us right now Mr. Kailash Vasdev, who's a senior advocate with the Supreme Court of India. Mr. Vasdev, good evening, and thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you. My first straight question on the nose is, do you believe that Arvind Kejriwal is likely to be arrested anytime soon?
In the systems in which we are placed, I put nothing past anybody. Arrests don't come during investigations. He has given 3 occasions, and on 3 occasions given good reasons why he could not appear. Section 156 of the Criminal Procedure Code, as we understand it, the old code, provides for investigation. And in the investigative process, you can ask a person to appear. If he doesn't appear, of course, coercive systems are available to you. But this is not a case where somebody is deliberately avoiding arrest. He is a chief minister. He has his responsibilities and he's trying to do what he can. However, under the Criminal Procedure Code of 1893, the old code, I am not yet acquainted with the provisions of the new acts which have come in, so it takes some time to understand. It is not easy to compel a person to appear if it is an offense which does not involve a certain set of crimes. So I see no reason why they should do this. Give him a chance, let him come, answer the questions because every chief minister has his own agenda, every minister has his own agenda, every member of the legislative assembly have their own agenda. They're political agendas and they're bound to be there. One is to defend your agenda as best as you can. That's the long and the short of the situation as it emanates when you involve political bodies.
Mr. Vasdev, Manish Sisodia was arrested a while ago and he's been denied bail repeatedly, including by the Supreme Court. Arvind Kejriwal's argument is no evidence has been presented against any of them so far. Do you believe that by now the investigating agency should have been required to provide evidence as to why they are holding a minister level, a state minister in jail for this long?
To my mind, yes, they should give reasons because this he has been in custody for several months now, and the courts are not interfering on the ground that the investigative process is going on. This is an area which we should look at because the investigative process can go on forever. Do you keep the person in custody all the way through? There has got to be a cap on the period in which the reports must be furnished. The law is once a charge sheet is filed, bail you are entitled to. Why can't a charge sheet be filed in a matter which is under investigation for almost a year plus? File a charge sheet, test the charge sheet, see what happens. It shouldn't happen that you keep a person in custody for so long, you ruin his political career, and thereafter, when you do file the charge sheet, no case is made out. It is happening today. There have been a lot of instances where charge sheets don't make out valid case, bail is granted, the case is forgotten, and the situation starts all over again. This is what is a new trend which we see in the courts. Arrest a person, don't file a charge sheet, procrastinate, delay, keep the person in custody, keep telling the court we are taking time to investigate. The courts say, all right, as long as the investigation goes on, incarceration is the better option.
But Mr. Vasudev, is there no provision under our law that stipulates that investigating agencies need to file their charge sheet within a certain time?
There is, it's a period of 90 days, but 90 days is now extendable, isn't it? Charge sheets, they extend, once you extend the period, you extend the period. And here is where one worries as to how much can you extend the filing period for filing the charge sheet. This is where the anxiety comes in. You've seen it in so many cases today, whether it is the members of the services, whether it is a person who's in political positions, whether it is with regard to small time criminals who have been involved in all sorts of small offenses. You keep their incarceration on by not filing charge sheets. And after you file the charge sheets, then bail becomes an issue because they say that we have more investigations to carry on. You file supplementary charge sheets, you file additional charge sheets, a practice which has now become fashionable in our system for the past 20 years. Since you've given so much powers under the Delhi Special Police Establishments Act to the CBI and the investigating agencies, they always add supplementary charge sheets, not small ones, running it thousands of pages. There are cases where investigation started in 93, 94 after Supreme Court orders with regard to land scams and so on and so forth. Those people are still in custody on the ground that the charge sheets and the charges are still being investigated. I mean, the man has served out a sentence. 94, he was taken into custody. These cases are pending in court. You read about them in courts every now and then. In the newspapers, they are covered. 96, 2023, he's in custody. It's more than a murder. You know,
Mr.
I mean,
Vasdev, this
these are
idea,
the questions which the judiciary needs to address now.
Indian jurisprudence fundamentally believes that someone is innocent until proven guilty. Do you believe that process is being used as punishment here?
It is being used as intimidatory, you see. The fallouts of this are not very nice. Because the case I'm referring to is the land scam, in which this group was buying lands all over the country and selling them. It's 97, 98, you arrested them. Today you're in 2023. And you're just carrying on the process unending.
Mr. Vasdev, I have to, there's a lot of notification sounds coming out of your laptop. It's
Just
interrupting.
a minute, ma'am. I do not know what this is. Just give me a second, please. I'll try. I do not know. I'm not very good at these machines, so you'll pardon my.
It might be a pen drive or something that's going in or out of your laptop. But it's stopped now. Mr. Vasudev, can you hear me now? Unfortunately, we can't hear you at this point. We're going to try and get Mr. Vasudev back. Effectively, he was talking about how in various cases, including the Delhi liquor policy case in which Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party have been arrested, he talks about how the process itself is being used as punishment, and that is keeping someone in jail for this long without presenting evidence against them because the investigation is still on. That is being used as the bail argument, saying we need to continue to interrogate this person. And once the charge sheet comes out, it's already there's already been months that had been passed, and this is what has happened right now with Sisodia and with Sanjay Singh. The argument now could be pushed even further to Arvind Kejriwal as as well. The question is the ED and the CBI being used politically in this particular case? And in the first answer that Mr. Vasdev gave us, he talked about how he doesn't believe, or at this point, he doesn't put it past, he said, the Enforcement Directorate to actually arrest a sitting chief minister. We remember Arvind Kejriwal has skipped 3 of his summons at this point, and he has refused to sit down with the Enforcement Directorate and ask his, and answer those questions. Mr. Vasudev is coming back right now. For our viewers who are joining us, give us your questions and we'll try and legally look at the use of the ED and the CBI as well, and if that's something we should be looking at a little more closely with Mr. Kailash Vasdev, who's joining us in a moment, from what I understand. A recap on the Delhi liquor policy. So basically, the Delhi liquor policy was done, and there were decisions, and it was causing financial losses to the exchequer. And we're going to take a look at this as well, financial losses to the exchequer and what that means, because this means that the decision was made in such a way that money that could have come to the government did not come to the government, and it caused losses. So is that, does that constitute corruption? Yes or no? It also, the report that was given by the chief secretary also said that the Aam Aadmi Party led Delhi government was receiving kickbacks for handing out preferential treatment to certain owners of alcohol businesses, and those kickbacks were used to influence assembly elections in Punjab and Goa. The CBI came into play and started an investigation. It named Sisodia and 14 other accused in its FIR. The Enforcement Directorate came into play and said that there were proceeds of the crime of almost 292 crore rupees, and was necessary to establish modus operandi of how this crime was actually committed. Now, from what we understand, the trail of this money has not been discovered by the ED so far in its investigation. The ED alleged that the scam was to give out wholesale liquor licenses to private entities and fix a 12% margin and get a 6% kickback. In its first 2021, the ED said the policy was formulated with deliberate loopholes to promote cartel formations through the back door and benefit the Aam Aadmi Party, who were receiving kickbacks from a group of people called the South Group, they said, who had secured uninhibited access to various wholesale businesses and retail zones. Now, after that had happened, of course, we know that Sisodia was arrested, and after that, after some time, we saw Sanjay Singh was arrested as well. The question right now is, will Arvind Kejriwal be arrested? Also, Arvind Kejriwal had put out a video today saying that he believes that this entire scam is illegal, that the ED investigation is illegal, and they are looking really to arrest them and put them behind bars. We're going to try and just figure out why I can't see Kailash Vasdev. Okay, there he is.
There's something wrong. This is crazy.
Well, we seem to have a problem with this. We're going to actually stop this live for a minute and come back with a fresh live once we get the problem sorted out. We're so sorry for having done this, for having a slight technical problem. We're going to stop the live and come back with a fresh live for our viewers as soon as we're able to solve the problem. Thank you.